I never used to believe in ghosts. That was until the fall of 2019, when I spent a weekend filming inside an abandoned convent in the heart of rural Pennsylvania. The footage we captured never saw the light of day. Not because it wasn't good, but because it was cursed. The story I'm about to tell you isn't just a scary tale. It's what really happened to me and 3 of my closest friends. And the nun at the center of it all, she wasn't supposed to exist. We were a small documentary crew. Myself, Juliet the cinematographer, Marcus our assistant director, and Dev our sound guy. Our project was simple: uncover lost religious sites and document their history. We had already shot in 2 locations when a mysterious tip led us to St. Mary of the Vale, a convent that had been shut down in 1971 under very odd circumstances. Locals refused to talk about it. We had to dig through old diocesan records just to confirm the place existed. Even then, the only address we found was scribbled in faded ink on the back of a 1969 church registry. The drive there was long and winding. Dense forest swallowed the narrow road until we reached a rusted gate chained loosely. The convent beyond it stood like a forgotten fortress, tall stone walls, arched windows, and a steeple that pierced the sky like a warning finger. We arrived late in the afternoon. The air was thick with cold silence. No birds, no wind, just stillness. Julia turned to me and muttered, "This place feels wrong." Inside, the halls were frozen in time. Wooden crucifixes hung crookedly on stone walls. Dust blanketed everything, and the air carried the scent of dried incense and rot. Our first eerie moment came when we found a wall of portraits in the west wing. Dozens of nuns, all with names inscribed beneath. All except one. A tall, pale nun in a black habit stared directly into the lens of her portrait. Her eyes were unsettling, completely black, no whites at all. Beneath her, the plaque had been scratched out violently. That night, we set up our gear and filmed some B-roll. Julia and Dev stayed back to check audio levels while Marcus and I explored the eastern wing. That's when we heard the chanting. Faint, female, Latin. We followed it to a sealed door that looked newer than the rest. Heavy oak, with a large iron lock and an etched warning. Non-recludatur. Do not open. We assumed it was some kind of ceremonial chamber. We didn't touch it, but that night, something touched us. Dev woke up screaming. We found him in the hallway, his hands bleeding from scratching at the stone wall. He kept saying, "She's behind it. She's waiting." She showed me her face. We sedated him with help from Marcus, who used to be a paramedic. Dev slept the rest of the night, but his words lingered. She's waiting. The next day, we found Julia's camera had been tampered with. Her lens was smeared with ash, and the memory card was missing. She swore she hadn't touched it. That afternoon, we found the chapel. It was beautiful. Sunlight streamed through colored glass, illuminating the dust in radiant beams. At the front was a grand altar and beside it, a kneeling bench, worn from years of use. On the wall behind, a Latin phrase carved into marble, Silenti Oration. The silent prayer. We filmed there for hours. But when we played the footage back later, we heard something underneath our voices, a whisper, low and breathy. "Pray with me." That night, I couldn't sleep. Around 3 a.m., I heard footsteps. I grabbed my flashlight and crept down the hall. At the end stood the nun. The one from the portrait. Her habit flowed like smoke. Her eyes glowed black in the dark. She didn't move, didn't blink. I turned to run, and found myself back in bed, sweating, heart racing. Was it a dream? But my boots were muddy. Julia vanished the next day. She had gone to the chapel to shoot sunrise footage. We found her camera on the floor, lens cracked. The footage showed her filming the altar, then spinning suddenly. Her last shot was a blur of fabric, and a face, impossibly close. We searched for hours. No sign of her. No footsteps. Nothing. We called the sheriff. They arrived by nightfall, did a cursory search,